approval, a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
I will second it.
Britton?
Yes.
Taylor?
Yes.
Thompson?
Yes.
Van Sickle?
Yes.
Merritt?
Yes. Okay, celebrations, presentations, and reports.
We're going to go to principal's reports.
All right. Most of you met. This is Hagen, who was guest tonight. So he had his first day on the job, but I just think, first of all, thank you for supporting the program. It was great to spend the week with colleagues, getting to know them even better, but also go through a pretty powerful training. I was excited to see him with kids and staff today. There's construction underway, so that's been fun having different people in the building and seeing some things go out of the building today. And kind of learning a little bit more about the construction meeting that took place last week. And then our ILT has been working. A few weeks ago, they met, I think, after the last board meeting, and then we meet again tomorrow. So just really preparing to be intentional about our time with staff as they come back next week, and being ready to just dive into learning and getting to know our new staff members. And then our new staff members start on Friday, so they've been in the building and have their keys, and just Terry Gore's really worked hard, I think, to plan for a great first day with them starting on Friday. Just looking forward to welcoming staff, students, and families back in the building. Excited.
Hagen's chewing on the chair.
Yep.
Yeah.
Thanks for pointing that out.
I thought it was his leg.
I didn't even know.
Does he do any tricks? That's what I want.
He knows 54 commands.
Wow.
So
Oh, wow.
now if he would do that with me, not quite sure yet, but he is trained in like 54 different. He's Steve it.
That's
Pretty well.
Pete said that. Funny.
Amy, how are you feeling about the construction starting? Do you feel like that's all going to be okay, or are you nervous?
I think they had a great meeting, and they were working today, and
Okay, awesome. Anybody else have any comments, questions?
It's Hagen.
Hagen, like Haagen-Dazs ice cream. So he came from the ice cream litter.
Delicious.
Oh,
You're
really?
making me
Oh,
hungry.
that's sweet.
Yeah.
So it's not a play on Ogden.
No, but that was confusing for all of
Okay.
us.
All right.
Yes.
So like Haagen-Dazs.
Yes.
Okay. Very good.
And all the dogs are named from birth, and most of the dogs are a year to year and a half old. So they are still puppies, but well-trained puppies with that. So yeah, our employees were not able to pick out the names of the dog.
Big day.
And that's a poodle.
Sticker poodle.
Poodle.
Yeah.
Straight up.
Yes.
Okay.
Straight
Are
up.
all the dogs poodles?
No, they're all different.
They're all different.
Real quick, we have a golden retriever. We will have a lab, yellow lab, right? And then we have a poodle, and then we have a mini poodle, Mishi, Hagen, Wrangler, and Fava.
Very cool. All right, what you got, Mr. Carlson?
I was going to mention the dogs also. My wife is a secondary handler with Alicia for the mini poodle Ishi. So she was at the training all week. I think she has talked nonstop about it since she's been home Friday night. I think she's tried to teach me all of the 54 commands so far. So she's really excited. And it's just fun to see. Wrangler was here earlier this summer. It was just fun to see kids gravitate toward Wrangler at the baseball and softball games and different events. So excited about that. Excited for year 3. ILT met this morning for the middle school, high school. It was our second of 2 meetings this summer. Really good group that we have. And we kind of have 5 themes for the pre-service meetings. We're going to talk about starting the year strong, consistent expectations, prepared or professional, building relationships, and then supporting every student. So that's kind of our approach going into our pre-service meetings. And then it's been fun to see the parking lot come together this summer. It's going to be really nice when everything just gets buttoned up and finalized, and I think it's really going to help out not just in terms of spacing and the amount of spaces, but just the safety and pickup and drop-off procedures. So really excited.
So I don't know if this is the time or place, but I'm going to ask it anyway. Where did we land on senior parking painting?
Sure. So we discussed this, and it's up with the new parking lot. We had it's a recommendation or an
So-
ask.
There is an action item tonight that is a fundraiser request for parking lot. So if you
I
want,
talked
can
with,
we pause that question and do
Sure.
the action item?
Yep.
We can discuss what our recommendation would be.
Sure.
Is that okay, Matt?
Yeah, that's
Yep.
perfect.
Anybody have anything else for Mr. Cross? I can't believe how big the parking lot is. Actually, I've driven through with my golf cart a couple times, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, it keeps going. So that it is going to be really cool.
I'm sure you guys will have a lot of communications to the public and the families and everything as far as flow and
I think Mr. Howard worked on it.
Yeah, I have probably about 7 different scenarios, and I'm going to put together a 2-minute video. I'm working on getting a drone tomorrow,
oh cool.
and then we'll voice over the drone and then show some of the stills. In addition, we will provide that information on our website. We have a construction page on our website, and we will have all that information that will be on there for people.
Nice.
Very cool. All right. Very good. Let's move on to the consent agenda. Did you have anything you wanted to point out there, Mr. Hyde?
It's pretty standard consent agenda. We do have some new hires, some coaching positions and associates that we needed to backfill to meet students' needs. So it's exciting that we're getting some of those positions filled out. And then we have annual approvals. The LAU plan would be for our English as a second language, our EOP, which is the emergency operation plan, and then our mentor handbook. So those are standard. Really the changes for those this year were simply updating due to some employee changes. So it was maybe somebody that is leaving our system, replacing that information with a new person. So really no significant changes in those things, but I wanted to draw attention to those consent agenda items.
Can I just ask curiosity, how many English learners are in our district, or what percentage of our population is?
2,
We have, no, total 3.
3.
Of the whole district, or, okay.
Yep, absolutely.
So I have a question about budget. Is
Yeah.
that okay?
Yeah.
So the general fund revenue recap, 95%.
There is still, as of the time I did those, a very large open enrollment check that had not been received.
That's what I was
It has
thinking.
been received since then. So the June 30th financials are really a moving target between now and September 15th.
So that's gonna bump up a little bit, but our expenses is 100%. That's pretty much
yeah.
what it is.
And I think we are pretty much we have everything paid for, I believe. And barring a surprise general fund bill, we should be right there, which I don't know if you looked at if you looked at that colorful yellow chart.
Yes.
That is the 99.71% of our instructional budget. I've never been held my breath so hard. Right on the money.
If we were over, you want to share with them if we were over what we would
If
need
we
to
go
do.
over as we finalize the year and receive any final invoices that would potentially put us over, we would receive an audit comment on that. Is all.
Do you anticipate that happening, or you don't?
I don't, but we are
Right there.
right there.
Okay,
And you have until a certain date to amend the budget,
okay.
and that is
May 31st.
May 31st. So because we are past that date, we can't go back and amend it. It would be if we exceed the 100% published budget, it would be an item in our audit.
And like I told Joshua too, right now, this time of year is what are the numbers doing, and once we get through certified annual report time, that's when I have the opportunity to really look into why did the numbers move like that. So Matt, any follow-up questions on why? I don't know yet.
And the consequences to receiving a comment on the audit is,
Really, they would want a corrective action for the following year.
okay,
I saw, that we're paying CAM, C-A-M, at Cumberland missing that.
Yep, they operate one of the online schools.
I see.
Iowa Connections.
Iowa
Academy.
Connections is there. So open enrollment out, if we have a student that wants that online learning, it actually goes to Cumberland Anita Messina School District.
Yeah, right.
It's affiliated with
I
them.
thought that was a long ways.
Yeah, it's a good driving. There's a couple to Clayton Ridge too. So
Yeah, I
it's a
saw
long,
that too.
it's a long drive.
Okay, I didn't know that.
So was the final open enrollment installment 400-ish?
You mean for revenue?
Yes.
A little 350-ish. And I'm actually to the back. I'm still missing one payment from another school, and I don't know how much that one is. It's not as big.
So this can grow to 400-ish.
Ish.
Very good.
Was open enrollment up this spring? Was there an increased number?
So open enrollment would have been from last year when we do our beds, and beds would be in October is when we do that official count. But we get installments, it's twice a year.
Mm-hmm.
We get payments from the open enrollment in. We bill them twice a year for that.
But I mean, I think open enrollment, if you were gonna open enroll in the spring, you have to run around March.
Yeah, great question, Earl. That is March 1st is when that deadline is. And right now, so we're projecting for the 26-27
Right.
that our open enrollment is higher in than it is out.
Okay.
But we still have, even though the open enrollment requests are, we might have some moving families where they truly, it's no longer an open enrollment. They are no longer a resident student in our district. And that's really a moving target, probably until about September 15th. Just because, well, we have transient families. But right now I can tell you at our March 1 deadline, we had more open enrollment in for the 26-27 than out than previously from 25-26.
So that was a good number.
That is a good indication, yes. Yep.
Anybody else before we take a motion to approve the consent agenda?
I'll move to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
Britton,
Yes.
Taylor,
Yes.
Thompson,
Yes.
Van Sickle,
Yes.
Mary.
Yes. All right, on to action items. This is what you've been waiting for.
Yeah, so
Matt,
I've been waiting. Sounds great.
That's right.
Go ahead.
we do ask our all fundraiser requests to go through the board for approval. It's one of our board policies. And for at least the start of the 26-27 school year, there's 4 of them that are presented to you tonight. I'm sure that we will have more as the year goes on, but these are the ones that we wanted to get out ahead of. To answer your question, one of them is senior parking spaces. Historically, I think this has been 2 or 3 years now, they have done a significant amount of painting for those senior parking spots. Basically, every square inch that's possible, they have been covering. Knowing that we have a new parking lot that we have invested a significant amount of money in, I'm pretty apprehensive to that, to be honest. So I have been having conversations with Mr. Carlson on how can we find a win-win in this situation. I want it to look clean, I want it to look professional, and I also want our students to be able to have that opportunity to have that senior, not necessarily a right, but something that they look forward to. They have a designated spot that they look forward to, and how can they kind of identify and put their personal touch on that. So, barring your guys' approval, we will be working with student council, and we're thinking something similar to the game of Monopoly, where there's kind of like a placard or something that identifies boardwalk, something that's nice, clean. It isn't the entire space. You know, it might be a 4x2, something that's in there that's representing and given for the students to be able to say, this is my parking spot. I am opposed to having them paint the entire portion that we have in the past. So that's really ultimately kind of the conversation that we have come with. Mr. Carlson has done some heavy lifting working with our student council president this year and kind of establishing what are their wants and then what do we think are reasonable expectations for that. So again, you guys do have the authority to approve or not approve this fundraiser, but my stance is how could we find a win-win in this situation?
I met with 2 of our student members that are incoming seniors because I think they were curious back in the spring after the approval process. And And we kind of came up with 4 options. One is, you're painting the whole stall. That's obviously their number one choice. The second would be like the Monopoly style type. They thought possibly even just painting the curb, and then they also know that a 4th option is that they don't get to paint at all. They understand that it comes down to a board decision, really, ultimately, and it's a new parking lot, so it's a tough decision all the way around. But in terms of ranking it, they would rank it stall, Monopoly, curb, and then nothing else. But we ultimately, kind of made the recommendation of the Monopoly style to try to have a win-win, but at the same time, it's up to the board.
But there was still, in a Monopoly, there would still be painting on the spot, is that correct?
Yeah.
And I think the hard part about any of them is we have more seniors that are wanting stalls than on the curve that you would think of typically senior drive, so it kind of spills over into the main parking lot. So if you're saying we're going to paint the curb, what does that look like? If we're going to make a placard, some of those stalls are curved, and it's not a perfect rectangle, so there's still some work to do. I've talked with Terry, one of our sponsors, and we're not making any decisions, not doing any painting until after the start of the school year, so we can make sure we have clear expectations with all the seniors in terms of what that looks like. So,
Can I ask, how is this a fundraiser? Do they pay to get to paint their spot, or okay?
I wish we could have the shop class manufacture like a post or something that like you have like a sign in the ground.
Like a school board member, plaque.
Yeah, or a student or parking student on Month Road, right? I wish you could have like a post in each one that costs money, so that would be hard to do.
Well, they're already paying money, kids, so you can get a $10 sign.
Mm-hmm.
And you want it to be.
I think the thing that most of our students didn't realize until they get out there and they start painting is how much paint it takes to cover an entire stall.
That asphalt 2 years ago for Jacob, that sucked it up. It just you just kept painting, and it's like, where is this going?
So the 2x4 might actually, they're going to paint it and be like, oh, that was way better.
They won't have the experience of what the asphalt used to feel like when they're trying to paint that, and it's just multiple coats of paint.
For sure.
Well, I'm not in favor of any painting, so that's my perspective, but you guys might have. We just spent $1 million, so.
Is that your reasoning, just not doing it on brand new concrete?
I could just see the parent go, that maybe I'm a 70-year-old man. It's cheap and it's frugal, so I didn't.
Well, I mean, excuse my ignorance, but does the paint hurt the concrete? Does it hurt it? Or I mean, is it gonna
optics is what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought you were saying it could damage concrete. That's not true.
My knowledge, I mean, I'm not a concrete expert, but I see no reason how it could hurt the concrete.
I mean,
I am simply looking at, I want when somebody shows up, I want to have a nice, clean experience. And simply painting the entire portion, I just was not in favor of that. That's where ultimately Mr. Carlson, and we've been wrestling with this since, well, probably June 1st, going back and forth and discussing it. And that's where ultimately we came to, would a 2x4, some type of concept, would that be beneficial? And that's where I felt it was appropriate. It would look clean, and it also gives those seniors that opportunity to do something that they look forward to.
Aesthetically, I would prefer it be in the parking spot and on the curb. I don't know. I'm kind of ooh, leave that clean, right? And then put
it probably does look better to have it down rather than.
I think so. But I mean, I also think we educate kids here, right? So we've got this isn't like a bank, I mean.
Well, that's what I was thinking. I mean, honestly, like we just talked about, we think about our district priorities. I feel like giving an opportunity to our students more aligned to the district priority than having a nice clean parking. Possibly.
Yeah,
I don't know.
So to that end, I mean, I do think that that's a good compromise.
I do too.
And I mean, just considering that, and I saw you shaking your head, that has got to be overwhelming. You get out there to paint it, and you're like, holy cow, that's.
What has to be on?
6
The
gallons
amount
a
of
day.
paint.
We were borrowing from people because
So I mean, just
down.
and even when you think of if you do like a 4 foot by 2 or whatever you decide,
something
like
that's small.
banner, like you still have plenty of room to like put your personality on there, which is the point, right?
I think it's a good compromise.
I think so. Where are you leaning now?
I don't have a strong opinion. Either
Okay.
way.
That's fair.
Get both arguments. So the majority of the board is for it, I'm for it.
Lauren?
Yeah, I have a hard time saying no to something that's not going to be damaging, if I'm being honest. If the majority of our students want it, I feel like we have to go with student opinion on this.
And I think your priority comment was good too.
Mm-hmm.
So, is there any other discussion on any of the other ones?
I did want to ask, what is the middle school fundraiser for? Like, why does the middle school need to raise?
So we do,
That would be for
hidden acres at the end of the first semester.
Okay.
And so it's kind of a reward. We spend a day out there and they get to swim and they get to do the basketball gym and the jousting and things like that.
Okay.
And then 8th graders also do an adventure land trip at the end of it.
Oh, yeah, I remember that. Okay. I just want to make sure kids aren't knocking on doors saying, we need money for books at school. And, you know, yes,
Maybe
like,
for those,
For
yeah.
the
Okay.
reward days.
yes, okay.
For puppies.
It's a great idea.
Well, I just wanted to make sure that
Write that down. No, I'm just kidding.
I wanted to make sure we were supporting what you needed. So.
Anything else? If there's no other comments, I would make a motion to approve these fundraising requests as they're laid out.
Britton? Taylor?
Yes.
Thompson?
Yes.
Van Sickle?
Yes.
Merritt?
Yes. All right, on to speaking of the parking lot, construction change order. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
so last week, I'm going to hand this to you guys first, and then I'll expand upon the change order that you guys have presented in your packets. There you go. So we have a meeting with Bishop Engineering and the general contractor, myself and Billy. We meet every 2 weeks. And we were really walking last Monday, and we were talking about being 95% done with the project. And one of the things that they needed to do was the activities entrance. You can see faintly there, they had to do some demolition and really raise that up so it was ADA compliant. And then we also had some watershed that was coming off our building that was actually going over the sidewalk, which was actually causing a hazard. So they actually brought that down. They have some type of a metal portion that goes over it. And as we were standing there, you guys can see the blue versus the pink lines. The blue lines are brand new sidewalk that we have, and the pink line would have been, without the change order, sidewalk that was not replaced. In addition, our engineer actually said that it had about 1.5 inches of clearance, and most have a 6-inch curb. He said that it actually probably, if push comes to shove, wouldn't actually meet like ADA compliance. I went and looked at it and said, if we're going to be spending this type of money, how much will it be to replace that the sidewalk, so that when you come onto our campus, it is from the west all the way to the east, brand new. I could just imagine in my head somebody showing up and saying, we spent money on this and we have the sidewalk there that was remaining at our activities entrance that was not replaced. In retrospect, our engineer said that this probably should have been in the base bid. We just simply overlooked it and failed to do that. So to get to the end of a project and have this be our first change order is actually quite a bit of an accomplishment, but it is $9,800 for the replacement of that pink portion that would be presented in front of you guys.
And this is totally feasible with this.
So yes, when we did our July 27th meeting and you guys approved the contract for the elementary, I kind of went over and remember we did not accept the alt for the elementary because we were nervous about money. With that being said, I allocated $100,000 of a buffer for this construction project here at the middle school, high school campus. At that time, I said it was for either change orders and or for testing of materials. So we are well within that $100,000 buffer. In fact, we're going to underspend that for this project because I anticipate this being the one and only change order for this project.
Can you imagine if we had that brand new parking lot and then like, and I don't know if you like remember, you couldn't even, correct me if I'm wrong, like that portion of sidewalk, you couldn't like rollerblade over it very well.
It was pretty rough shape.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Like we, oh yeah, good job.
Yep.
Yeah, if there are no questions,
I'll move that we approve the change order 1 from Homeboy Enterprises
thanks,
for
Ron.
$9,800.
I second. Man, got it.
Britton,
Yes.
Taylor,
Yes.
Thompson,
Yes.
Van Sickle,
Yes.
Merritt.
Yes. All right. Transportation recruitment strategy, Michael.
Yeah, so I've been updating you guys throughout the summer and just our needs for transportation for drivers. Right now we have 5 routes and we have 5 drivers, and if we have activities that some of our junior high events start at 4 o'clock, we're going to be hard pressed to really figure out what we're going to do to be able to meet the needs of our before school, after school, as well as our activity routes. We had a district admin director meeting, and we started just to put our heads together and problem solve on what might recruitment look like. We're actively sending things out on social media. We have things posted on Teach Iowa, etc. And one of the things that Denny and I came up with is could we incentivize our teachers, or actually for most any of our employees, any employee that we have, if they actually bring somebody to us through a recruitment process, we would incentivize them with that, kind of a bonus, if you will. It is for $250 if they bring a route driver for us. If they bring an activity driver for us and they complete 10 routes, or excuse me, 10 activities or more, we would give them $100. So again, we're just trying to incentivize people to help us with recruitment. I don't know if it's going to be fruitful or not, but we're just trying to throw some ideas out there to try and incentivize people to get out there and kind of, hey neighbor, are you interested in driving? Or grandma or grandpa or whoever it might be, just to try and send a bigger net and try to increase more voices to try and help us with this problem that we have.
So we have enough drivers to start the school.
We do, assuming we don't have any illness.
One of the things that I think we kind of overlook in this bonus thing, it's the driver who's going to have the expense. You know, I did it a year and a half ago whenever you said that you had a shortage. And I never heard from anybody. Nobody called me and said, can you drive? You know? So I mean, I spent 80 hours of testing, 2 trips to Fort Dodge, and most of that money was my own, but the school paid for my schooling up at Fort Dodge, and I think the DOT thing. So they invested $300 or $400 in me, and I have not heard anything. And so anyway, I mean, I say that.
Have you applied?
Nobody ever said about an application. Yeah. You know, I mean, I told Denny I was willing, and I never heard. So all that said, to get a new driver in, there's got to be some compensation for him or her to spend 80 hours. I mean, I spent about 3 weeks. These tests are 80 tests. It's crazy. It's good, but it's time consuming. So somebody who's going to want to come into that and do that system, and into the system.
This is like testing to get your CDL. Is that
Yeah.
So you were compensated for like the actual price of the test, but not your time. Am I
Well, you know, and I don't care. My time, I'm retired. I don't. The time was not.
Okay.
But for somebody who is not retired and to have to invest that much time and the expense of going and then going to the courthouse. I mean, it just this little stuff that if somebody is looking for a part-time job, there's more than meets the eye. I probably wouldn't have said, I'll try that, you know, if I'd have known it was going to take 80 hours, you know. So that's the you just have to be aware that that's what is going to be involved. So to find a driver and to get them certified is not going to be an easy process.
Sure.
And that person's,
Yeah.
you know,
Is there anything beyond just getting your CDL, or all of that was to get your CDL?
that just to drive a school bus.
Yeah.
It's not to drive a train truck.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So
this
it's
was-
specific.
There is quite a few different CDL options.
Oh,
There's an
okay.
A, B, C, and
I
D,
think I got
and then there's
G.
passenger.
Oh, okay.
There's a lot of different testing that you need to have, air brakes,
Yeah.
etc.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
if you have your semi-CDL, you still need
Yeah,
a
I
separate
have-
one
I have
for
one.
school bus, is that true?
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
passenger.
You have to have
Yeah, I have
passenger.
one. Yeah. I mean, that was just an observation
Yeah.
from me, and I'm not sure outside activities that I'd be interested. That's what I told Denny initially.
Yeah.
So I don't want to be tied down to a route, but you know, I had put that out a couple of years ago. So anyway, if you're going to find it, we better, instead of rewarding the teacher, we better be putting a little cash in that person's pocket in order for him to accomplish the 80 hours, the trips to Fort Dodge, and renewing the life. They have to get a new license and boom, and you know, and you know, it's probably $150. It didn't hurt me at all, you know.
Well,
But
but
somebody
it's
who's
valid.
struggling along and just needs a
Yeah.
job, you
That
know.
can be a lot of money for people.
Yeah, and time. So that's my only caveat.
Okay.
I don't
So,
care.
Joshua?
Yeah.
Along with the DOT requirements, how much more Department of Ed training is involved?
There is I'm not fully equipped on this. I can talk to Denny and I can provide it in my weekly update. But I know that they have to go for the first time. They will get a CDL provisionary license, and then they actually have to go to either DMAC or Iowa Central and actually do an in-class and actually pass like an initial. You have to, before the bus starts, you have to go through a certain protocol, and then you'll actually have to drive with somebody up there. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, once you go over to Boone, you take this initial 3 or 4 tests you got to pass. Then they give you this computer program that you spend 80 hours taking, and there's boring video after boring video. Lesson, you know, and very thorough, very good, you know.
No, they're really, really great
They're
videos.
great.
They're awesome.
They're
You'll
different.
really enjoy it.
But I mean, it's tough, and then you have to take a test, and you have to get a survey, you have to get 80% on the test, and you flunk, and you can't flunk it. You can just keep taking it. You can win, but it's you know, it's okay. So, and then you go to Fort Dodge and you spend 2 days up there.
And then on an annual basis, they have to do a renewal
Oh,
course.
every year, wow, okay.
Yeah,
Department of Ed piece of it.
I believe so.
What-
I will follow up with Denny and find out.
When someone's currently hired, what starts right away? Like, do they not start getting paid until they start driving currently? Is that, yes?
Yeah, now we've said that we would pay for the process, but that really probably is the courses that you were talking about.
Yeah.
So it wouldn't be for the time, it would be for the courses.
Mhm.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
I think the Fort Dodge was a couple $100, you know.
Which is standard, you would say school districts.
Yes. Now there are some that are starting to incentivize and say, hey, we're going to give you a sign-on bonus. And that is something that we have definitely thought about. My concern with that is we have some bus drivers that have been loyal to us.
Yeah.
So now all of a sudden you're trying to create a culture of teamwork, and now you're bringing somebody on, and they're like, wait a minute, why am I not getting that incentive for being retained? So I think we want to just be cognizant of going down that path. I'm not opposed to it, but if we do it for our new, why are we not doing it for our old that are retaining and being loyal to Ogden as well? Yeah, it's tough. We have thought about lots of different angles with that.
Really good point. I think too, right now, our barrier is we don't have any options, so incentivizing people to bring us options for, we haven't had, we'd really love to be a bus driver, but we can't afford X, Y, or Z. We don't have anybody coming forward. So increasing our applicant pool, I think, is the motivation right now.
We've had literally no applicants.
Literally.
It's not like we're turning people away because they're not meeting. Okay. So I mentioned this to a couple people. This is a way out there idea. They have CDLs and they live rural, like out where we live, so 15 minutes from town. They have sheds. They would be interested in driving if they could keep bus on property to save themselves the 45 minutes to get
Drive
into
in
town,
and out.
back out to the route again in the afternoon.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think that would be worth discussing.
Okay.
And I think we're at the point where all options are viable options.
Okay.
I'm not committing to that tonight, but I think it would be worth
Mhm.
that person reaching out to Mr. Good
Okay.
and myself and saying, can this work? And then I think we would want to look at like liability for insurance if something were to happen. Who's responsible for that? So I'm not opposed to it. I think it's a good idea, just as long as that person is not liable for our property and vice versa. You know, there is some insurance aspects to it. So
I can tell them to call.
I would encourage them. We are to the point right now where whether somebody is interested in driving 1 day a week, doing an activity once every 2 weeks, if they want to do PM only, if they want to have the bus on their property, I think we're willing to entertain anything right now.
Okay.
Yep. So thank you.
All right. Well, what do we think? Do we have any other comments or questions? Or
I mean, the max, if we approve this incentive, we're looking for, what, up to 3 bus drivers? Like, we would be out, I don't
Yeah.
remember what the total amount was. It would be, okay, it'd be an investment of $1,500 at the most.
Probably a max of 1,000 to be honest.
Okay,
By the time you start doing some regular drive, and when we get full, we get full. So even though you might bring somebody to the table, if we're not hiring them, we're not going to give that person the
yes.
$250 bonus.
Okay,
If that makes sense.
yes.
So I would anticipate $1,000 would be the max that we would ever pay for this.
Okay. To me, it's worth it to find a bus driver for a $1,000 investment. So,
yeah, I agree.
or somebody else can. Okay, here. I am going to move to approve the bus driver recruitment bonus plan.
I will second it.
Britton?
Yes.
Taylor? Thompson?
Yes.
Van Sickle?
Yes.
Merritt?
Yes. Okay, on to policy adoptions. Correct me if I'm wrong, we've been kind of waiting for these, haven't we?
Yeah, so these policy adoptions, there was Senate File 2428. If you read about it, they've been talking about it being violent, nonviolent disruptions in the classroom. We were kind of waiting. We received these when we received the slew that you guys actually passed in July. But we were waiting for Allers and Cooney, that's the district's attorney, as well as some other guidance that we received from the Department of Education, as well as ISB. Once we received that information, late June and into July, we have been working and really looking and saying, so how do we take that legislation and how do we implement it into our campuses? There's some things with some various committees and what have you. We feel really good that we have a good plan in place on what that is, and then we ultimately, based off of knowing what we were going to do, we went ahead and went through the policy that was provided from ISB, and we're presenting it to you guys tonight for adoption.
What questions do y'all have about that? Anything? Okay. Does anybody have a motion?
I make a motion to approve the first reading of policies 503.11, 503.11, R1, and R2.
I will second.
Britton?
Yes.
Taylor?
Yes.
Thompson?
Yes.
Van Sickle?
Yes.
Merritt?
Yes. All right. On to public comment. Not tonight? Okay. No problem. All right, going over the board calendar. Anybody, I think we are finished with our marathon
You
board
guys have been busy.
meetings. So we're going to try to leave you alone for, for a little while here. And then moving on to Mr. Hyde. What do you have?
Absolutely. I'm going to hand you guys a document tonight that I want to just kind of remind us about. And if you haven't seen this before, I apologize. But, we're going to go ahead and get those out to everybody. Okay, to get started, if you guys want to go to our district strategic plan, and we have 4 district priorities. If you guys want to read through number 3 and 4, creating systems and then optimizing resources, just glance at those real quick, number 3 and 4.
Should I read them out loud?
Sure.
Knows?
Yeah.
So this is regarding district priorities. Number 3 would be creating systems of support that prioritize growth for students and staff. Number 4, optimizing resources to support student and staff success.
Okay, so what I presented to you guys tonight is we're excited for Friday. Is going to be orientation for 4 new staff members. So one of the things that I wanted to discuss and share with you guys is something that we've referred to as layers of support for our new teachers. This is a flow chart that you guys can see, and I've highlighted our 4 new employees for you guys to kind of be able to reference. We have created what's called lead learner teams, and those lead learner teams are for helping with our district WIG, but it also really creates, I hope, a group of people that our new employees can really kind of lean on and be able to help them. They have a lead learner that's able to help support them, but then if you kind of go through the tree, that lead learner then also has a learning specialist in each building. And then on top of the lead learning specialist, there's a building administrator. So you can start to see the layers of support that we hope that those new employees have. Ultimately, what it's referring to is a system for growing our teachers. Our teachers, besides having a lead learner group and a lead learner, they're also assigned a mentor teacher. So sometimes it might be, hey, I feel really comfortable talking to this person about instructional practices, things that are going on in my classroom, curriculum, assessment, and I have these people that I can speak to. But sometimes it's like just really tough on how do I communicate to a parent that's upset about something? Or where do I find supplies that I need for whatever it might be? And we hope that they can go to either their mentor teacher or they can go to their lead learner teacher. We're just trying to create all different avenues for those individuals to be successful with our system, because being a first-year teacher is hard. Being in a new system is also really hard. So I think that this is really highlighting how we've created hopefully a system to help support the growth of our staff, but it's also trying to optimize that resource. Our most important resource that we have is our employees. And we're trying to really optimize those to our fullest potential through this kind of graphic that we really, it's a symbolization, but really what we do is we take that and we actually act on it on a daily basis. So any questions about layers of support with that?
We are compensating our lead learners, correct?
Yes, they do. Yep, absolutely.
All right. Awesome. Thanks for sharing that.
Yep, absolutely. Other things that I just wanted to kind of highlight, again, Terry Bohr is kind of leading the mentor induction program. We'll have our new teachers on campus on Friday. New staff will report, all staff will report next Wednesday. We're excited for the beginning of the school year. On August 18th, which is next Tuesday, we will have an open house to be able to meet the therapy dogs, and I will have at that time information about like parking lot, like flow, etc. So it's an opportunity to kind of have an open house for that parking lot. The things that will not be done, they will be doing some tree planting. They're kind of waiting for the right season for that, as well as the grass. So they'll be doing some final grading, etc. with those type of landscaping. And then unfortunately, the heads to our LED lights are on back order. So the poles may be up, but the light heads won't be. We are working with the contractor just about safety and lighting. That might be temporary until those come up. But besides that, on August 18th, the project should be buttoned up for those, except for those small things. So I just wanted to draw a highlight to that. Other than that, we're excited for the school year, and we're ready to go.
Awesome. What questions do y'all have?
That came to my head when I listened to one of the coaches on KWBG talking about Sunday open gym or open mat or something here in over the summer. in my head, and what I'm thinking is, why do we need to have school function on a Sunday? You know what I'm saying? I'm not even sure, I think there's some kind of standards out there that says no coaching, no certain to a certain date. Is that correct on certain sports in Iowa?
Yeah, there's no contact times.
So would that be a week, or is that a month, or is that a certain period before?
So they usually have like dead week. So we just got done with dead week would be an example where we really want to honor the family and allow them the opportunity. So across the state, the Iowa Boys and Girls Association has said that all schools in the state of Iowa should not have any activities during that week.
So why do we on Sunday think it's necessary to have the building open and have some kind of an activity? If I was a parent in today's world and had to do the amount of running that you guys do if you had 2 or 3 or 4 kids, I would be crazy. The school absolutely runs families to death. I don't know if any of you have experienced that yet. So to have it on a Sunday, why? I just don't get it.
So I feel free to speak a little bit to that, and if any board member wants to add your opinion on that. But I've actually worked with Mr. Smith regarding this, and one of the things that we have established is Sunday required practices for our activities should not happen, with the exception of if there was a game or an event that they needed to prepare for on Monday. And I think that our coaches honor that for the most part, actual required practices. There are some times when it's postseason and we may not get who we're going to play until Saturday because we're waiting for Friday results, and all of a sudden they're scrambling on Saturday to get film and what have you. And if we were to create a policy that says no practice on Sunday, we're going into that postseason event on Monday ill-equipped and not prepared.
So what?
Well, I think that's your opinion, and you're entitled to that. But for every person that might hold that opinion, I think we probably have 10 people that would strongly disagree with you. Now, as far as having open gyms, they're open.
Are the coaches there?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. But I think that we have a strong portion of our community that probably says, I want to get those additional reps. I want my child to get better. I want the opportunity to improve. And it's optional for those families. And if they don't want to attend, they don't have to attend. So that's just my 2 cents on what Mr. Smith and I have talked about as far as required practices on Sunday. We've actually said that we don't want them unless there is unique situations that we need to prepare our kids to be successful on that said competition on Monday.
I personally think that's a great structure to have. I mean, I'm fairly traditional too, Earl, and I've worked for Fairway for 30 years. So I haven't worked a Sunday in 30 years, so I definitely understand that sentiment. But I think that seems reasonable to me with what you laid out. It's open and available, and then if there's something Monday, you need to get the team ready. That makes sense to me. I think the entire team and the families would want that.
In addition to that, we carve out Wednesday nights.
Yeah, we block off Wednesday nights.
Starting at 6, I think, correct? This office on
Yes, it is.
Been on the board 15 years. There have been a couple occasions, not very often, where coaches were encroaching on Wednesday nights. Practices were going too long, and we cracked down on them. Because it's like, no, we've carved Wednesday nights out for families and all the church events that occur in our community. So,
and to your point, that's something that Mr. Smith continues to bring up because it seems to be just something that our coaches, they might lose track of time. They're trying to maximize. Maybe on Wednesdays we got 4 different teams. We got maybe the freshman team, the varsity team, boys and girls trying to compete for that space. So he has talked to our coaches, and I have reminded him on Wednesdays. It is, to be honest, it should be a 5:55 deadline for that. Yeah, absolutely.
I have a second question, or second. Yeah. Last winter, we had a parent that disagreed with a book that was being read in English classes, say. And they went through the policy, because the policy says you have a committee and you talk about it and you read it. But a couple months ago in church, somebody hit me up again. Her daughter had been in Ogden, and she again, disagreed. Couldn't believe that we would offer this book in class. So, my question is: are we going to be reading Purple Hibiscus again this year in class? Maybe I need to.
I believe so.
I have
It's gone through the vetting process twice. I know of through 2 different committees that have approved it as a big curriculum.
I would.
I will also say, Earl, that she, at the beginning of that unit, also provides alternate reading
If
opportunities.
they don't
for
want to
those
read
kids
it,
should they
don't read
want
it.
And it's not going to be at any fault or detriment to their grade.
We spend so much time in here talking about we lose students or finance and stuff. A book like this drives more parents to pull their kid out of school than any book possible. So, I'm not, the book in itself is not, it's the worst book I've ever read as far as.
My son has read the book and didn't have a problem with it.
Huh?
My son has read the book and didn't have a problem
Well,
with it.
he's not 70 years old.
Well, he's Catholic, and that's what they were talking about when they came.
If I was a Catholic and read that book, I would just go through the roof.
I disagree.
Okay, well, we can do that. So, anyway,
I read it too, and I didn't have. I also didn't.
I did.
And if they can opt out of it, then
Right.
Well,
I would just.
that's my 2 cents. That was my comment. And you answered my question.
I would say yes, we plan on doing it. We have board policies and we follow that board policy, and we had SIAC members that participated and read the book and vetted through it, and it was a 6-0 that it was not breaking any violation. So I intend that we would be reading that book again.
So,
All right. Did you have anything else?
I do
Your
not.
report? Anybody else have any questions or comments? All right. I will take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
All right.
I will second it.
Thanks, guys. Burton? Yes. Taylor?
yes.
Thompson?
Yes.
Van Sickles?
Yes.
Merritt? Yes.
Thanks, Josh.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'll take your cute little.